All right, ready or not, we are live with the CBG Radio podcast brought to you by Consistency Breeds Growth. I am always joined by Justin, the WOD nutritionist. He's here with us, and always the very lovely Gab, the one that brings the personality because we're just a couple of boring dudes.
No pressure. It's fine.
Yeah, no pressure. Brings all the personality. So, all right. So I'm excited about this show. Let me get us sorted around here so that I can bring up. Here we go. All right. So we're going to start with some breaking news. This is exciting. And then I'm super excited about this too. We got, I believe, 7-time games athlete Sam Kwant's going to be with us. We'll recap Rogue, and then we got some more news at the back end too. That I thought if we had time, depending on where we are with time and stuff, that we could dive into. There's actually a lot of stuff going on right now in the CrossFit space. So, all right. So the breaking news, Justin, do you need a drum roll or
do you have one?
I don't think I have a drum roll actually.
Wow, way to call his bluff, Justin.
I know. Why did I think of that? I don't have a drum roll. Oh,
you got it.
That stinks.
All right.
I think I have like a like like a comedy one. So, but I got the applause, the annoying long applause. I got that one.
All right, we could do it for the end then. Just save it.
All right.
Perfect.
All right. So with much anticipation, CBG, as you guys, as I've alluded to on the podcast over the past month, has signed a new athlete that we're going to be working with for the end of the 2024 and 2025 game season. And that athlete is Haley Adams.
Whoa, let's go. Haley Adams, man, that is huge.
So dope.
Yeah.
All right. That is awesome. So I'm stoked about it. My wife and I have followed Haley for a long time. We've always kind of, thought of her as like the sweetheart of CrossFit. Like, I mean, she's awesome. She's fun to watch. She's awesome. I don't know, Gab, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I mean, Haley has publicly had some issues with food in the past, with body image issues. And I think the fact that we are able to get her geared up for the games and to perform at her best without having her track macros is such a gift, right? And so to be able to see somebody like that really shine because she is not dealing with the sort of like mental, emotional, trauma that's associated for a lot of people with really tracking your macros. It's amazing. I'm so excited. I feel like she's really gonna shine and be a shining representation of like what we can do to help people.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's like she's a perfect fit for what your message is, Justin.
Yeah. I think we're being like a little bit more selective with the athletes that we work with. We want to build like really great relationships with them and make sure they fit our brand enough to like promote it in a great way. All of our athletes work with one of our coaches personally, right? And so we need to have like those touch points, and for her to have gone through the struggles she's gone through, still coming out of those struggles, gearing up for this year and needing a safe place to go to understand enough of the food side of things to get what her body needs to be at her best. Like I'm really excited that we're going to be the ones gearing her up for this year to help her do that. So
yeah,
it's gonna be good.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. And hopefully, I don't know this. So this is a personal request. Hopefully she'll be able to come on the podcast at some point. Right.
Yeah,
I mean, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
talk about that.
She will. I think so. Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome. Well, that's cool. Very, very cool. All right. Well, that's our breaking news. So now we'll move on to another CBG athlete. Let's go ahead and get him in here. Sam Kwant. Why isn't he coming in here? Where'd he go? Oh, I'm not in the right thing. Oh man, I ruined it. There we go.
Oh, Joel.
I ruined the introduction. That's like on that movie. What was it, Big Daddy, where she's like, "We ruined the good surprise on you."
Oh yeah.
I ruined the good
Sonny
introduction.
always gets the good surprise.
Yeah, I know. So what's up, Sam? Thank you for joining us, man. I'm super excited that you gave us some time today. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sam, I just want to get the elephant in the room kind of like out of the way. I feel like it's really important that you know, with all the love and respect in the world, I have always and will continue to, in truthfulness, have always referred to you as Squant. Am I the only one?
Oh
Do you
my
get that?
goodness. No, I haven't got that before. Oh man, that's funny. Okay.
That's a new
Squam?
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Squant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Normal people have trouble spelling it and they'd throw a Q in there, but I haven't heard that one before. But it was pretty
oh,
funny. I don't take offense to it, don't worry.
interesting. Okay, good,
Nice.
because it's truly, truly out of love and admiration.
Yeah,
So how can
we'll
I
try
help
to not
you?
make that a thing now.
Okay, no more. I
We don't
promise.
want to get that.
No,
that
you're
out.
you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You can keep doing it. As long as the announcers don't start saying that, then we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. We'll keep
Yeah,
it
like the
cash.
live announcements
Okay,
on
perfect.
the, on the floor. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for that, Gab. And I saw Sam that you I saw on some of your YouTube videos that you're like into fantasy football.
Oh yeah. I mean, the last like 4 years, I wouldn't say I'm like super into it. I definitely don't do my homework like a lot of my siblings do, but yeah, and I haven't had very good success the last couple of years, but I did something right this year and I'm crushing it right now. We'll see if that hangs on, but I'm doing pretty well.
Nice. I like that.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I used to play I'm not playing this year, but I used to play quite a bit. So you're an elite level games athlete, but you're talking to a like multi-time fantasy football champion. So I'm just saying.
So
Just saying.
so after the show, I need to talk to you a little bit, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, perfect.
And then I also would submit a recommendation of changing your fantasy football team name to Squant. So just a suggestion.
Okay. How do you spell that anyway?
I think you should
No
spell
Q.
it with a Q. I think you should.
No Q. Okay.
I think you should. I think it looks good.
No,
with a Q.
Joel, don't be rude. No Q.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So just kind of, anytime I have like a guest that I'm interviewing or something, I obviously try to do some research. So it does probably seem like I might have stalked you a little bit, but that's kind of part of the process. But I just, watching like your YouTube stuff and like, I just was thinking like, do you ever have to like pinch yourself? Like, I mean, you're like living like the dad life, professional athlete, you're cold plunging in front of mountains.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
you know what
true.
I mean? Like, you're just like, you're living the life, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of times I'll kind of like reflect. I'm like, whoa, this is pretty awesome what I'm doing. And I'm definitely blessed. And being able to do what I do and spend a lot of time with the family, it's super nice, and I definitely don't take that for granted. But also, with that being said, I work pretty dang hard.
Absolutely.
But yes, I definitely know that I'm blessed, and I'm having a good life right now for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's definitely you can't take away from the hard work, that's for sure. Now you're in Washington, right? The Washington area?
Yep, Washington State. Yep.
Okay, cool. And now does James Sprague live out there too? Are you close? Are you guys close?
Yeah, so he lived, let's see, when he was a teen athlete, he lived like an hour and a half away from me, and we would get some sessions in like once a week, especially when I was training for like the 2020 games, and he was training for the teen games. But now he lives in Idaho, I believe, so we really haven't linked up too much, but we definitely did train a decent amount together, and I must have given him too many of my secrets, but yeah, he's a good dude. I wish he lived closer.
Yeah, that's cool. How did traveling go? Because your youngest went with you, right? How did that go?
Yeah. To be honest, it probably could have been worse. But we were traveling kind of like at nighttime, so she slept a little bit, but it was definitely a bit of a struggle to get her to sleep and keep her asleep. But on the way to Scotland, my wife kind of took over a lot more of that, taking care of her on the plane. But I pretty much just stayed up and then pretty much went to sleep as soon as we got there to try to get myself right on the schedule. And I also did stuff at home, try to go to bed early, kind of every night, get into bed a half an hour early. So I was about 5 hours, already had adjusted 5 hours when I got there, and I just needed to adjust another 3 hours. So the adjustment for the most part went well going there. And then, like I said, Emory did pretty good adjusting. And on the way back, it's been pretty rough. Like I didn't really do any prep or anything to try to get back into schedule. So everybody's a little jacked up right now, Elise and Emery, but we're getting back into our flow a little bit.
Yeah, but when we were scheduling and stuff, you said that you were going to take this week off. So have you been off, like,
Yes.
kind of? So what does a week off look like? Like, you don't do anything, or you just kind of doing a little bit here and there?
For as far as working out goes, I'm not doing anything right now. Mostly taking care of Emery, but right now my sister's watching her. But a whole lot of nothing really, kind of just like relax and get my body ready to start going again.
Awesome.
A lot of kid time now.
Yeah, that's cool too. Well, because your son didn't travel with you though, right?
No, he didn't. Yeah.
But, so you're probably getting a lot of time in with him.
Yeah, I think getting a lot of time in with him. I think last night he usually goes to bed at like 7:30 or so, and for some reason his thing has been like after dinner he goes on a bike ride in the dark. So he's really been liking that. So we went on the bike ride last night in the dark for quite a while. And he was just running ahead of me. So, and I couldn't see him. So that was fun chasing him last night. So I guess I am getting a little bit of work at it.
I was getting
running to chase him. Yeah.
There we go. You got a dad workout.
Mm-hmm. What's the bee story? You got to tell us the bee story with the bees.
Oh, frick. Yeah. So yeah. Yep. The Tuesday after the games, Leighton and I were kind of doing some bushwhacking by a stream that's close to our house. And then I guess the dog actually was right with me. We were walking up back home and we were just walking right next to a tree. And all of a sudden the dog just like went down and was like whacking at her ear. And all of a sudden I see bees all over her. And then as soon as I see that, I see them all over my arm. So Leighton was right behind me. I picked him up and started running with him. And then I guess my foot went into a hole. I'm not 100% sure what happened, but I went down, grabbed him and kept running. And I ended up breaking my ankle.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But the bee stings actually hurt. The bee stings hurt worse for the first couple of days than my ankle did. It wasn't very fun. Like my arms were all swollen. It wasn't fun. Somehow Leighton didn't get stung at all, just the dog and I. So we got lucky there because he would have been not a happy camper for a couple of days if he got stung a bunch.
How many times did you get stung? Do you know?
I think like 9 times. But the funny thing is my wife has told a couple of people I was running away from a bee. Singular.
Like one bee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Guy is tough as nails, strong. I don't know. He just one bee took him down,
To be honest, I probably would have ran away from one bee, but it definitely makes for a better story getting stung a couple times.
Yeah.
Fair.
That is fair.
Yeah.
So how did that, is your foot fully healed? Did it affect you at all at Road?
I would say my foot's like 95% of the way better. I've definitely like the prep leading up to Rogue. I didn't do too much bounding. We definitely were running and doing some double under stuff, but it was limited to make sure I didn't really like piss it off. But for the most part, it's doing fine. Foot's fine right now. And I can't complain about it too much.
Yeah, that's good. All right. So a little bit, back to the travel a little bit now and kind of the nutrition side of it. Did you pack your food? Did you grocery store once you got there? Do you have a meal prep sponsor? Like, how did you handle that?
So we pretty much packed everything that I needed just for the travel. And then like the morning of once I got there, but once we actually got there, my wife went shopping and she pretty much just bought everything that was similar to what I eat, which I mean, they obviously had like white rice and oatmeal and stuff like that, but everything wasn't identical, but we made it work. And so I just packed for the traveling days. And then once we got there, we made the food.
All right. That sounds pretty easy.
It's like,
have you ever had a mishap with that, Sam, where you're traveling and there is something that like you realize very quickly is not what you're used to?
To be honest, no. I've always been super careful about that, and I won't even take a risk. It definitely was a little bit different being in Scotland, but I mean, if it's plain turkey, it should be plain turkey and white rice. Right. So I don't really risk it. So I mean, I'm pretty smart with that. It's not worth it to jack my stomach up with taking something new,
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, that was clutch because that's one big thing we go over with athletes. Like, don't eat anything new a week, weeks out, right? Like, if you have
exactly
months, like, don't do it. So Sam's like good about that, but also the food situation out there for some of our other athletes that like didn't go to the store and have somebody helping them prep stuff. Like if they were ordering, like the Uber Eats out there is like, I don't know, I forget the name of it, but like they were having trouble getting food on time and stuff like that. So
yeah,
definitely like going to the store and like being like having your own kitchen there and stuff was like key. When you told me that, like none of the other athletes had that sort of available for them. A lot of them, anyways, you know.
Yeah, we got pretty lucky because my in-laws decided to come along as well, and they just rented an Airbnb. So I ended up staying every night there, and they had a full kitchen, you know, and then just between events, I was in the hotel. So it worked out pretty well as far as that goes.
Yeah,
that's great.
Cool. And it looked like a cool place. In your one YouTube video, I was like, man, that place looks awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. It kind of looks like what you would expect a picture of Scotland to look like. We were just right on the water. It's pretty dope for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
I gotta check out this YouTube. I feel like you post about it. I never watch. You ever mention CBG in there or no? He's like, no, never.
Oh, I'm sure I have. I mean, I'm making food in there and everything. Yeah.
I gotta look. I gotta go.
CBG Easter eggs is what you.
He's like, you gotta plug it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go subscribe.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you better come on
YouTube. I'm not like big on. We're starting to get bigger on YouTube. Like now, I'm posting weekly YouTube videos. Plus, we have the podcast now with all of us every week, which is like just alive, you know. So I'll get on it. I'll go look at it.
There you go.
Did you so? With your in-laws being with you, did they kind of handle your daughter like during the actual like event time?
A couple of the times, yes. But a couple of times, Elise just brought her to the venue to hang out with her because my in-laws didn't buy tickets in advance, and I think the stadium sold out on Saturday and Sunday. So I know they definitely helped out a lot with Emery, but I would say like half of the time she was at the venue with Elise and watching and stuff.
That's cool.
Which it was kind of nice to be able to see her between events, you know, kind of get your mind off of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be cool.
What's one athlete on a female side? Because the females go before or after that you would not give your baby to after.
Bro. Jeez.
Oh, Justin coming in.
Well, you gotta ask me something. You gotta ask me something like that, dude.
Just say Dallin Pepper, dude. It's Dallin. He's in the different.
You said female side, right?
Yeah, but we can. I feel like that's too mean because like that's like because females are like inherently like nurturing and like so any female would take offense, but like a man's like, oh shit, all right, you wouldn't give him.
Nah, dude.
Cold.
To be honest, I wouldn't want to give her to any of the females. I mean, they should be locked in and not having to worry about babysitting somebody's kids. So I would say nobody. I'm not going to answer that question, Jeff.
Good answer, Sam. Way to back out of that one. You were like Homer Simpson in the bush.
The bushes.
Yeah, exactly.
So did your wife then? Was she there to help like make you eat in between? Was she like the person that was cramming you with, you know, giving you gummies or whatever you use?
Yeah, all of the above. She was. Yeah, she pretty much makes the food. And kind of, making sure I'm eating. She's the one that's kind of taken over everything, so I don't have to think, which is super nice.
Yeah, that is nice. That's awesome. Well, and I just think it's cool that you guys get to do that together, and then to have your daughter there a lot. Like, that's cool. Like, that's gotta help.
Definitely.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of the specific events. So, in event 1, now this is super random, right? But when I was watching the broadcast, I kept noticing this. I told Diab about this already.
I know about this. Yeah,
it's so random. But in that last turn, as you came back into the venue and you made that last turn before you got into your lanes, there was like a judge standing right on the corner of that gate the whole time, just looking like.
Oh yeah.
Was that?
They were in a couple of the corners.
Was that annoying? Like, were you like at first? Were you like, what is going on? Why is he standing here?
Oh, so the very first round, nobody was standing on the corners, especially like outside. And when you're taking that corner tight, you kind of grab the railing to accelerate yourself again. So I'm pretty sure that's why they were standing on the corners. But no, I mean, it didn't bug me at all. I was pretty tight on all the corners, and I'm sure I brushed up against every single one of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody did, but nah, it didn't bug me at all.
Okay, because I actually saw that. I think I don't remember which lap it was. If it was the last one when the Adler and I think Gerard were coming around. They did. It was like they like shoulder checked him because they were trying to cut it so tight. And but anyways, it just looked so random because he just was like he didn't even like flinch.
That's
So what was your so I found out, I didn't know this beforehand, but while watching it. But I guess that you guys weren't briefed on the how heavy each bag was. Like you didn't know what order they were in.
Yeah, so they let us know the weight of every bag. Not like, well, they told us the weight of each bag, but we had no idea the order or what bag had the weight in there. So you kind of had to make decisions on the fly while you're doing that kind of, especially if you're wearing that ruck. You want to pick up the lighter bags with the ruck and then the heavier ones without it.
So is that what you were looking for? Like when you ran up to it, did you like do a quick scan of like, okay, where's the light bag? Where's the light bag?
I mean, yes, I did. So pretty much, I mean, very first round, you run and grab a bag, and then you're like, kind of mentally, you're like, oh, okay, that 200-pound bag is the second one. So I'm going to pick and choose. So yeah, I picked up the first bag and then pretty much scanned right then, and I kind of knew what bag I was going to go for next. So it wasn't like a split decision,
Yeah. Did you kind of do that each round then? Like, did you have like your next bag ready when you came back kind of thing?
Yeah, for the most part, yes.
All right. So then the other thing that I saw while watching too, not event one, moving on from event one, but was I don't remember which event number it was, but what was the key for the log muscle up? Because there were so many people struggling with that.
Yeah. I mean, I did it in 2022, and it definitely was hard as expected. I really don't know like what the secret is to being able to do it, because for me, singles were the way to go. But there were definitely people that were doing doubles. But my coaches and I kind of figured out like hands closer together was better. And it's a smaller kip. It's a small. You don't really get into too much of a hollow because you can't have that big a kip because it's hard to hold on to the log because it's so thick, So it's really like getting a false grip on the log, kind of. And by false grip, I mean like getting it as far up onto your forearm as you can. So it's really hard to figure out. And I'm talking to some gym owners, or my gym owner, and another place that I train every once in a while, see if we can get a log set up. So I can practice doing it, which I practiced a little bit, and I was getting a log set up or trying to get a log set up, but we never were able to. But also in the back of my head, I'm like, they did it 2 years in a
I think this is
2 years in a row. No, this is the third, because they did in 2022 and 2023. I'm like, they're not going to do it third year in a row. And that's my own fault for thinking that, so.
Right.
And they
roguelike stuff. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to feel like the log is something they could throw at us at the games. So it's something I want to touch every once in a while. So hopefully get something set up here so I can practice a little bit. But I know a lot of people were struggling on it. I didn't really watch any of the other heats, but I did see some people coming off and coming out of off the floor in tears.
Yeah. I wonder who was in tears.
I'm not going to answer that either.
Oh man. All right.
Come on, Joel.
Okay. I gotta ask it.
Who was in tears? We can go back.
I heard on the tailgate, the Rogue Premium thing or whatever, the guy from Coffee Pods and Wads, he said something about like drama between some of the athletes or something, and Josh Bridges was like, "You podcasters, you only just want drama," and I'm like, guilty.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I mean, that's what people are wanting to hear, right? So
right, yeah,
makes sense.
So you are allowed to shoot me down anytime on a question like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think that makes sense then. If a lot of the athletes were trying to, like, maybe they were trying to kip too much.
Yeah. Yep.
And then that was because it looked like with Haley Adams, she kept hitting her chest like on when she was trying to. So it looks like maybe she was so used to doing the big kip on a regular muscle that was thrown off. So that makes sense.
Yeah, she probably wasn't able to. I mean, because your hands feel like they're going to slip off when you're doing any kind of kip. So I'm assuming she wasn't able to get a big enough kip to get up there.
Yeah.
All right. The next event that came up, I think, was let's see, what was it? Event, because the log was the second day. Was that on Saturday?
Yeah, the log was event 4, I think.
Okay. So then skipping to event 6, which was what did they call it? Where you raced against each other?
The duel.
The duel. Yes. I couldn't think of the word. So obviously, tragically, Gabby Magawa gets hurt. And we know now that it was her Achilles. I'm curious, what was going on? Was there any chatter in the athlete warm-up area after her injury? Like, was news starting to spread pretty quickly about it?
To be honest, not too much. And I was also kind of just me and my coach. We didn't really talk to anybody, but I did notice after Hendrik Happelainen, after he got hurt, I'm like, oh crap. Okay, this is you got to be a little bit careful. But I wasn't careful, because you can't be super careful in a event that's
right?
30 seconds, So I'm glad that Rogue kind of, for the last couple of heats after that, they made the adjustment, made everybody do burpees. So I think it was a good call for that. But yeah, it definitely sucks. Especially for Gabby, she was crushing it. She was doing really well.
She was,
I think she was in second at the time.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a bummer that happened to both of them.
Yeah, Achilles injuries are 6-8 months out.
Yeah.
Easily.
Do you guys know if it was full tears? I never even heard exactly.
Yeah, well, my buddy had one that was a full tear not too long ago, and it like coils up. It like ribbons up, like it's crazy. Like there's so high tension on the Achilles. Right?
Yeah,
when it snaps, it just like curls up in both directions, and so sometimes they have to take like stuff from other places in your body to like put it together, and sometimes they can so it just depends on a surgery. I don't know if it was full or not, but
gotcha.
If it's a lot better if it's not, that's for sure.
Well, hopefully it's not.
Yeah, I don't know if they've released that yet. Go ahead, Gabby.
When you train, do you bound? Like if you're doing box jump overs, are you rebounding or do you step down for that purpose? Like how do you approach that? It just in your regular training?
Yeah, especially in the last couple of years since they've been more careful, I really don't bound very often.
Yeah.
Obviously with double unders and stuff like that, I do. But like I said, since I hurt my ankle, I haven't done any kind of bounding like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, we're careful for the most part. But you also got to train how you're going to compete, and they haven't had us do really any bounding. They made it a lot more careful, so haven't had to bound now.
Yeah, it's such an interesting like dichotomy between having to go fast, right, and then like being careful. It's
exactly.
It's a loud pop too, like you can hear
it.
Yeah, it's like boom.
I've heard it.
Yeah,
not pleasant.
I mean, that's the one injury you don't want, or that's an injury you do not want, because that could be very long recovery.
Isn't that what happened
Henrik
to
looked
Julie Fouché that year?
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
that's the first time we
2015.
that handstand. She did that handstand event like with a
boot on. Yeah,
and I think she did some snatches too.
Yeah, what a savage, man!
Crazy.
Yeah, she's crazy.
What were you gonna say, Gab?
I was just gonna say that the second it happened to Henrik, he looked like he knew it. He was just like, okay,
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I asked about if there was anything like in the athlete warm-up area, if there was any news spreading about it, and if that changed anyone's strategy, because it didn't seem like it. It was like her injury happened, they finished the women's events, and then the guys came out, and there were guys that were rebounding, and I was like, well, they must just be going for it.
Yeah, I mean, there might have been talk. I just wasn't a part of it, and you want to be careful. But like I said, if you wanted to do if you wanted to be decent at all in that event, you had to kind of throw caution to the wind, which is not a fun place to be in. But I mean, it's what we do for a living, so kind of got to go for it and just hope nothing happens. Yeah,
the sport component for sure. The pegboard. So I saw on your YouTube that they put one up at your gym to practice on. That's cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was really nice of them. Yeah, we had one of the coaches that brought in their pegboard, and then we threw it up so I could get a little practice. It worked. I didn't do well in the event, but it was definitely nice to have some practice and some kind of idea of kind of how to get your momentum going on it.
So for next time, if you see a pegboard like that again, like what did you take away from that event? Like, did you identify why you struggled or the parts that you did well?
It's for me, I think it's really just getting more practice on it. And I texted my pops already to see if he can help me set a pegboard up at home to get practice. So I haven't really thought too much about it, but definitely when it's time to start training on it and getting used to it, I will definitely go and probably I know Brent smoked everybody, so I'll go kind of see what he did and figure out the best way to attack a horizontal pegboard. Yeah. And like I said, I bet Rogue will probably do it again, especially because how much of a rough time some people had on it.
Sam, how much tape analysis do you do, like of other athletes that did well in events, or like of yourself to see like what you like could have done better or did wrong, or like where things fell short? Like, do you do that often? Do you kind of rely on your programming coach to like look through that stuff and see how you could have been more efficient? Like
Yeah,
what is
so it's definitely a little bit of both. I mean, but I do it on my own, especially if it's a little bit of different movement, you know. Like I said, I'm going to analyze how Brent did it. And I want to see like some different ways to do the sear dumbbell because I struggle a little bit with that. So yeah, I'm definitely like, especially the weird movements, I'm going to go look at the people that were really successful with it and see some of the little things they did that I can improve on because there's no reason not to do that, you know. It's like football watching tape.
Yeah. Because everybody's like, I mean, some guys are stronger than other guys, right? Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and girls and stuff like that. But I mean, other than that, it's just literally technical and physics, you know, like where someone
Exactly.
starts in positioning or like how they're doing, you know, in terms of how many pegs they're pacing across, and like how do you practice that to make sure you feel comfortable, you know, swinging and pendulum that far without falling. So, okay.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the Rogue specific stuff, like Rogue obviously known for incorporating some strongman stuff in there, how often are you practicing that just throughout the year? Do you wait until Rogue gets a little bit closer to start introducing that stuff, or is it kind of peppered in throughout the year?
Usually I'm decent at like strongman type stuff, like stones and sandbags. So we don't touch it a crazy amount. But I mean, we definitely touch it. Like, I would say like specifically probably once a month. Like on a Saturday, I go to a guy's gym that's near me that he has all that kinds of stuff. Like even as a pig. So I'm messing around with all the specialty equipment, probably like once a week, really heavy kettlebells, and he's got some heavy sandbags. He's got all that stuff. So like once a month, I really like have a dedicated session or day to that pretty much.
And is that something you look forward to? Is that like a fun little break from the regular training?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, getting a little different environment and playing with some toys is definitely fun, but it also it's hard. So I don't know if I'd say I look forward to it, but it's definitely a little bit different. So yeah, let's say I look forward to it. Yep.
Cool.
That's awesome. What was the most painful event like that you went into the pain cave?
I would say probably the log muscle up one, just for the thrusters. It was not fun. It was very rough.
Yeah, well, I mean thrusters, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
All right, that's probably the one I would pick too, just because of the thrusters.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you had a strong finish on the like the sandbag clean, the last event.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is that like right in your wheelhouse?
Yeah, he's doing strongman once a month, Joel. We just established.
Yeah, exactly. So, exactly.
Right.
I haven't. Yeah, so I mean, I have some at the guy's house. He's got like a 250-pound bag that I've touched a couple times, and I definitely do sandbag workouts. But going into that event, I felt like it could be decent for me, and it was all about that last bag. Especially watching the women, they all struggled a lot on that last bag. I mean, probably some didn't, but I definitely saw some struggle. So for that one, I paced it a little bit too much. I could have attacked the earlier bags a lot more just because I was setting myself up to expect to struggle a lot more on that last one. But then the last 5 reps were my fastest reps. I think my last 5 were even faster than my first 5 at the 150 because it wasn't as hard as I expected. But I do know a lot of people still struggled, but I didn't struggle too much. But also maybe I paced it well, be able to set myself up for that last bag.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's probably a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have a competition nemesis? Like you can keep it fun too. Like
a competitor?
Yeah, like one of the like Dallin and Hopper,
Jason.
right? Like they're always like if they're on the floor at the same time, like they're trying to beat each other. Like they probably don't care about the rest of the athletes, right? Like, do you have one of those out there?
Shoot, dude, now I'm trying to beat everybody, so they're all a nemesis.
Yes, I love it.
But I mean, there's always the biggest one is the guys that are always right at the top, you know, especially like Pat and Brent. I mean, not Brent anymore, but those guys are the guys you're always really looking at. Yeah. But there's nobody specifically, you know, I'm trying to beat. James and I have banter a lot of times. I feel like sometimes for some events we beat each other by a second or two, but other than that, it's really everybody and the guys that are at the top you're really looking at.
Yeah. There was one moment that the broadcast showed where you it was on the horizontal pegboard and James was behind you, and like the broadcast caught you. You turned around and you kind of gave him like a smirk, like you know, like
it was because we both were in the same position. We both were failing the pegboard, and I was like, okay, when are you going, dude? What are we supposed to do now? Because I know, like, when you're grip, for me, it was all grip. And if you watch the 2023 games, like the Alpaca event with the seated rope climbs, when your grip is gone, you're just like, it doesn't come back that fast. So I was like, dude, how long should we rest? I'm like, I'm not going until 16:30 or something like that. And it was, I mean, it's just, you're in that position. All you can do is, I mean, be focused, you know, but
yeah,
I was like, it was like, just like, yeah, what are we supposed to do now, dude? This, I was even like, this sucks, but just try to be smart about it. And yeah, a little bit of a light banter, you know, because it's a crappy situation, but
find a way.
I mean, it's not the games, you know, it's not, I mean, you're obviously trying to win, but yeah, anyway.
I mean, technically, it's probably something you can figure out just like the vertical, but there's a lot more gravity at play with the horizontal, right? Because you can't put your foot anywhere on the wall.
Exactly.
Oh,
Put on the wall, you can stabilize yourself a little bit. Literally no stabilization on it. You can't put your feet on anything. It's literally just all hanging gravity.
Yeah.
That's it. You know,
and you got to be accurate. Yeah, it definitely was a different beast.
It's all time under tension, right? Like how quickly can you get from one end to the other end, less time under tension. So the technical side of that is going to be extremely important, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you have the same food, like no matter what the event is, or do you have like specific types of carbs for specific types of events, or like something like that, or is it just carbs?
It's pretty much just carbs. I mean, if it's like a really strength-biased event, I mean, I don't worry about feeling too full. But for the most part, nah, it's pretty much stays the same. I don't like eat bread if I'm going to go do a run or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So, Justin and Gab, I want you to rate this nutrition advice that, so I don't know that he didn't specifically plug CBG when he did this on his YouTube channel. But he did share there was some nutrition advice shared on here. So,
my nutrition advice?
Well, kind of. You'll see.
Oh boy.
You'll see.
All right.
Oh boy.
I taught Sam everything he knows. I think I think it's gonna be good.
All right.
Oh boy.
How do
You guys hear that?
What do you eat to go big and strong? Is your mouth full?
Beef sticks. All right. So rate it 0 out of 10. What kind of nutrition advice is that?
11.
11. Yep. Protein. I love it.
Yeah, little man loves his beef sticks. Yeah, he does. It's pretty funny though too, because I mean, we get a little bag of them, and he'll ask me if he can have one. I'm like, yeah, sure, go get one. And then next thing I know, he's got like 7 in his hand. I'm like, no, dude, you can have 2. You cannot have that many.
Wow,
that's awesome.
It's funny.
My daughter actually is. She likes that as a snack too. So
yeah, he really likes them.
We do the what are they called? They're in a red bag. They're the grass fed, grass finished. I can't remember what they're called, but you can get them at Kroger's. I don't know. What do you?
Okay.
Do you want to?
Me, I don't even, dude. I don't even know what they're called, but they're Costco ones.
All right.
Yeah.
Smart. Look at you two, efficient shoppers.
Yeah.
Sam, I have a question for you. I am of course not a games athlete, but I am an endurance athlete, and so I've done a lot of long events like ultra marathons and stuff like that. And I find that at the end of a really long event, the thing that impacts me the most, no matter how well I'm fueled or how many intra carbs I'm doing, is I feel like so depleted of carbohydrates mentally that like my brain doesn't work for days after. People will ask me questions and I'm like, I'm just not playing with a full deck. Like, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you find that for days after like the games or Rogue or something like that, that you are just not all there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can ask my wife about it. Shoot, during the games, especially, like I'll ask my coach or Elise, like the same question like within 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, what time do I need to start warming up? And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, I know I already asked this, but what time do we need to warm up again? So yes, I'm not all there, and it's very it's weird for sure.
Yeah, it's like this strange, and it's not that you're not fueling, you're eating your carbs, you feel fine physically, but there's just something about it where your brain is like, no more.
Well, I'm
so
glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I really haven't talked to too many people about it. And anybody I've talked to, they're like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, all right.
And you're like, I don't know. I guess it's only me.
It's like, what's wrong? Yeah, something's wrong. It is
not just you. Yeah.
All right. Well, good. Makes me feel better.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I hope it's coming back to you.
Yeah. We're doing all right.
Yeah, you're doing.
Well,
good
thank you.
All right. So for the general CrossFitter that watches the games, and maybe has aspirations to greatly increase their fitness, can you give them any kind of idea of just like what is required lifestyle wise, obviously nutrition wise, training wise? Like, what is it that sets you apart from the general CrossFitter?
I mean, anybody would say this, but it's true. It's really just being diligent on a routine and consistency. And I mean, as far as training goes, it's kind of get on a program and stick with a program. Don't just like kind of hop all over the place. And then as far as nutrition goes, also the same thing. Be in a program, be consistent with it. Obviously, you don't have to be super consistent. I mean, well, you have to be consistent, but it's not like you can't have a pizza here and there. But yeah, that's kind of, for me, it's all about having a routine and sticking to it.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So kind of the last thing that we have here for you, Sam, is we're calling it Gab's Gauntlet.
Oh,
she is going to
he's
going to rapid fire questions at you to kind of finish this off. So take a deep breath.
Remember what we just talked about not that long ago.
Yeah. Listen, I feel you. I understand where you're at. I have taken it into consideration. We got this.
All
right. So Gab's Gauntlet, take it away.
Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Good answer. Here we go. It's happening anyway. All right. Sam, favorite intro workout carb?
Rice.
Amazing. Favorite erg?
Bike erg.
Least favorite erg?
Erg is the Echo Bike count?
Well, yes, fine.
We'll count it.
Which actor is the real Batman?
Dude, I don't even know them. All I know is Tom Holland, so we'll go with that. I don't know the names of the other ones. Sorry.
I'm not positive he was.
No,
Batman,
Tom Holland isn't Batman. I don't know any of the Batmans. Tom Holland is Spider-Man, so forget. I don't know any of them.
That's fine. He's from Queens. We love Spider-Man. What did you eat for breakfast this morning?
Eggs and turkey bacon and oatmeal.
Broccoli or asparagus?
Asparagus.
What's your max deadlift?
530.
What was your favorite subject in high school?
History.
If a magician could do rudimentary magic tricks like pulling a rabbit out of a hat or making a coin disappear, but he was doing it with real magic, it is not an illusion, would he be more or less impressive than Albert Einstein?
More impressive.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs, definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Give it up for Sam Kwant.
Good job, Sam.
You made it.
You're the first victim to go through Gab's Gauntlet, and I feel like you nailed it, man.
Is that the first time you've actually done it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Crushed it.
I'll take it.
So far, you're the winner. Congrats.
Cool. We'll see how long that lasts.
And my lovely wife is helping out. The beef sticks are called chomps.
So, there we go. Okay.
Thank you, Candace, for that.
Nice.
Great.
All right, Sam. Thank you, man. That was was a lot of fun. I hope that you enjoyed your time with us because you did sacrifice some time with us. So
dude, this was fun. This was fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for coming.
hopefully we can do it again.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Awesome, man. Have a great
Awesome.
day.
Thanks, Sam.
Bye,
Talk
Sam.
to you, bro. Later.
Sam Kwant, everybody. That was
Nice.
fun.
It's got to be Michael Keaton, right?
Yeah, Michael Keaton. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael
The
Keaton.
original Batman.
Yeah, thank you. This is a very heavily debated topic in my home. I understand that Michael Keaton is not super physically imposing, but like Christian Bale just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, Bale doesn't do it, but then George Clooney was like he had the rich play. He has the dynamic play the best. I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Can we go? What do we have? We're gonna do Rogue recap.
Yeah. Do you want to recap it, or do you want to?
Can we do like winners and losers? Like who came out of the weekend better? Who came out of the and by losers I mean like we just wanted more from them. Everything's probably fine, but yeah, maybe we can do that. Like top 3. Like
Yeah, I'll just pull up the
losers,
leaderboard and
yeah, let's look at the leaderboard.
Yeah.
I think that'll be good.
all right. We got the ladies up here first.
It's definitely expected from Tia.
Yeah, she's just
she
it's
crushed.
unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, what a performance by Laura.
I know. And Gabby.
I know she was killing it.
Gabby's a winner loser, right? Like she tore her
Yeah.
Achilles, but like just such a great, like kind of a winner loser dynamic, you know?
Yeah.
But Laura definitely a winner there for sure, you know?
Yeah. No, for
Yeah.
sure.
Gazan coming back from the games, I would say that's a big win for her, 100%. Danny in 7th as expected. I think that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And we already talked about Gabby. That makes sense.
Well, just the fact that she didn't even finish,
I know.
these last ones here.
Yeah,
and
go to
she's
the
still-
right. Go to the right and see like what her points. Like, can you go to the right on this? Or
I think
remove
it says it under her name, right? Total
if
points.
you remove the Rogue recap breaking news stuff, then we can.
Oh,
see
I see. Okay, I wasn't looking at your at that
Yeah,
side.
no, you're good.
There you go.
Yeah, Gab. Yeah, like 3 event she didn't finish. She got 20th and she still got 8th. That's wild.
Amazing.
Manon, obviously great. I mean, somebody that came into this not supposed to be on a top 10 finish. Remember, there's only 20 athletes here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, Sturt, I also think that we put her pretty low.
I was impressed at how strong she showcased.
So very good work from her. DB, we know wanted more, right?
Yeah.
You know, she's better than that. She knows that. But she had some sparks of amazing fitness and showed that she's still like obviously gonna, is and will continue to be one of the best in the world. Just tough weekend.
The second time she's had a back squat issue at Rogue.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the strength, absolute strength, like has to go up, and the mental confidence of that is there because she is fucking strong. Like she really is. Like, and she has all the capabilities to be just as strong as anybody else out there. Like technically proficient in the way she moves. I think she's the best athlete. Like athleticism is out of this world. So it just has to come together. Not a bad finish. I mean, middle of the pack, right? But just like expect. She wants more. We expect more.
Well, I mean, if you look at these other events here, I mean, it's this one and these 2 here where she, these, like those were the main ones. If she finished a little bit more in the middle with both of those, she's a solid top 10.
She's a solid top 10. 100%. Yeah, she's 6th, which is where she finished close or around at the games. I think she was 5th at the games. So she's like right there where she was at the games. And this is everybody that was from the games.
Yeah.
Love seeing Emily Rolfe this high at Rogue, being a strength-based competition. I love Emily. She and her husband, they're working really hard to get her stronger. I love seeing that. I think Paige, Sydney, and Amanda kind of all fell where we thought.
I don't know. This kind of surprised me a little bit because
Amanda?
because she's pretty strong.
I know, but we put her pretty low just because of coming off semis and just like she has a lot of life stuff going on right now.
Yeah,
and
that's
and
true.
She's
Yeah.
trying to continue to balance between that and also competing and getting back and feeling good. And but yeah, she's definitely strong enough and still one of the best in the world. But that's why I thought honestly she would be, you know. Haley, new CBG athlete. I think with the strength stuff, just difficult, struggling on the muscle ups as well. Just that's kind of where we landed. I thought maybe she'd be closer to the middle. I think that's, obviously she at the games, she's what, 4th at the games or 5th. I think it was her and Danielle like right around the same area.
Yeah.
So wanted more from that. And then I feel like everybody else kind of those other people, this is where we expected a lot of them to finish. Like we kind of knew,
we knew that Taylor had a chance to maybe do well in one, something that really tailored to her strengths. And I mean, she did get the 4th place in that one event. So
yeah, I think we did pretty decent with our rankings overall with that. Yeah.
Do you have any new superlatives now, Gab, after Rogue for any of them?
Most likely to snap their Achilles, I guess. Like,
Most likely to snap. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but this is, I've been joking about this for a long time, but I'm actually curious to know, like, what you guys think. I often find myself thinking that Tia should be competing with the men. Like, is that crazy? Like, obviously not really, right? Like, people will take that very seriously. But like, she's just too good. Like, it's just constantly a fight for second. And I feel like
maybe compare some of her scores, like with the stuff that doesn't have the weights, the same weights, to see like what like that would look like.
Well, I think like an event like where if she did the men's weights of the bags on that first event.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be a fun one to compare to see how many of the men she would actually beat still.
Right.
Because I mean, she can outrun probably all of them. And then, just,
wild.
Carrying the heavier bag a little bit.
Probably not. I would say probably outrun the bottom 5.
No, she beat, what was that year in the games that she literally got like 3rd overall or something in one of the run events, I feel like.
That. Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like there's so many better runners now in the men's than they used to be.
Well,
everyone is better at running now.
James Sprague is an amazing runner, and he was like 5th in that event.
Running has become such an integral part of CrossFit that I feel like at one point it really was not. It's crazy. And I don't know where that comes from. I mean, other than the fact that it was a hole, right? I don't know if it's like you could point back to the High Rocks thing, right? Or what, but it's crazy.
But yeah, maybe you're right, Joel. Maybe she beats half or more of the guys in that. I don't know.
I think Joel and I should put that info together and bring it up on Monday.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
All
right. Let's look at the men. So big win for Jeff. I mean, coming off of the games, obviously not continuing to compete. Definitely in the winner side of everything. Same thing with Brent. I mean, phenomenal. Just to come back, and literally be within an event. Could have won this thing with a couple more events. Like, who knows?
I mean, this one right here is what hurt him, right?
Yep, that's it.
If he finishes higher right here, he's in it.
He's in it.
Yeah.
Amazing for Hopper. Love to see it. He's right there, fighting for a. Well, who was 3rd at the games?
I'll look it up real quick.
It was James, Dallin, and Pat.
Pat, yeah. It wasn't Jason.
I think
James, Dallin, Brent was Hopper was 4th.
Hopper was 4th. All right, I thought he just missed. So he was ecstatic about this. I know it. So he's definitely in the win column. I think also this is what we thought of Ricky. I mean, we put him in the S tier for this. Same with Dallin. I think all those guys are right there with each other. And as expected,
Yeah.
A big performance from Jay.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, we weren't expecting that. Guy, that's where we thought. That's exactly where Danny was. Spiegel on the women's side. We thought like the stronger athletes would
That's
come
funny.
up. Yeah. I mean, I say Pat takes a little bit of an L here. I thought maybe we'd see him a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Wanted a little bit more from Pat, maybe. Justin, maybe a little bit more too, but I think that's where he's at. He could certainly use this comp as a decent placement and momentum for the games and grab a podium spot, being a 2-time champ.
Do we see Justin coming back? Like to the podium?
I think so. I think he can.
He can't. I mean, he got an event win.
Yeah.
I mean, he still got something, right?
I know his mindset, and I know he wants to continue to do better. I think getting Ellie back out there and competing is going to help him a lot, as well. Just them, being together, being a good team. But yeah, that's what I would say. So, I think it's possible for sure. Koski, I mean, yeah, that's not bad. I would say he takes a win for the weekend with that finish.
Back to Vellner real quick. Do you think that could this be his like swan song? Like kind of like
I think
fifth
he's
at
gonna
the games.
I think
ninth
he's
now.
gonna it could be his last year competing for sure. But man, he's been trying to win for so long.
I know.
He doesn't want to give that up. I think Brent, and it's a shame because if you think about it with Brent,
Brent seems like he's at his peak.
He could win the games this year. 100%. He can win the games.
Yeah.
Look how close he was to Adler. And we know how fit Adler was. Like everybody was expecting Adler to go into this year's games. It's the same. It was the same at this year's games. Him and Ricky out in front. He ahead of Ricky on the run event, the swim and the run swim. That's how it was. That's how it started. This is how it finished. Him winning. So I think Pat still's got a games in him for sure, but I don't know how many more after that.
Yeah.
James, look, I mean, he had pneumonia headed out into this. I didn't want to say anything on the last podcast.
You can't discount that.
I wanted to, make sure he still look at all the guys he beat. I mean, he beat some pretty big guys, I'd say. Still shows that he's still, one of the best athletes in the world. I think maybe he takes a little bit of an L this weekend. I would have liked to have seen him in the top 7, but you've seen the guys that were up there. I mean, with the strength stuff and some of the technical things, like if you're like decently strong, all right, but not like the strong guys, plus you struggled with the bar muscle up and the pegboard, there was no chance for you at Rogue.
Yeah.
100%.
Right. Like it's just not possible.
And I mean, this last place, I mean, he 20, that killed him right there.
That definitely did, Chandler, I mean, I think that's where we expected him to be. I would have loved to have seen him higher, that's what it is. He wants more. We were talking a little bit after. There were a couple things going on that prevented a higher finish that I think can certainly be fixed.
Anything that you can talk about?
He was he had a little bit of an injury going into things, as a lot of these athletes do, right? Just how on a scale of 1 to 10 is it? So he was feeling that a little bit, but I mean, he didn't use it as an excuse or anything. It was good to see. If anything, and I talked to him about this. I already took a big hit of responsibility. I mean, look at his finishes at the beginning: fueled, going into day 2 and 3. Like this is a really good indication that the athlete is not fueled as properly as they possibly could be, either because they haven't been training for this level of volume necessary, or they're not eating enough and supportive enough. So you could see that day 2 and 3. So for us to sit here and be like, oh, it's a little nagging this or that. No, I mean, obviously there's a nutrition issue here that we need to fix. He said he felt less fueled in this than maybe some others. So it's something I have to go back to the drawing board with him and determine, and maybe get ahead a little bit more, because me and him, we talk, but it's kind of he's got a good handle on things, and I think we need to revisit and do an audit on some stuff to make sure that it's good. But it's first time back competing individual in over a year too.
Yeah.
So he has to decide what he's going to do next.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I don't think he knows yet either. So
Yeah, I mean, to come off of a year of competing at team and then come back individual, like I think that's still a solid finish.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I don't think he takes an L this weekend. I think it's about right where, we expected with the circumstances, Jorge, great. I mean, I would take that as a win.
Yeah, I think that was big.
Yeah. I think for Sam, I would have loved to see him break the top 10. So maybe a little bit of an L there. But he's just coming off the games, man. He's got 2 kids. He had the ankle thing. We just went over that with him.
Which the ankle thing would have affected training, for several
100%.
weeks, leading up to it.
Especially with all the running they did out there. I mean, it's just, your capacity is sport specific, right? And then obviously, everybody else, I think, kind of finished wherever. I think Saxon takes a little bit of an L here. I thought maybe he would do a little better. But Noah just coming back. I mean, that's what it is.
That was crazy.
After an Ironman,
Yeah, I did an Ironman the week before and then came there.
Yeah.
That was insane.
I think I got a call, guys. But if you guys want to stay on, keep going.
Okay.
And, be good. But
cool.
All right, guys.
All right.
All right.
See you, Justin.
See ya.
All right. Justin, everybody. All right, Gab, since we have some freedom.
Oh, no. Joel.
What do you think? He says, Alan says, with how events were eliminated in this year's tragic CrossFit Games, how much weight or validity do you give to the winner being the fittest on earth versus a competition champion?
This conversation is very similar to one that we have in baseball a lot. Stay with me here, right? Because I'm a big Mets fan. Baseball is really my sport of choice. And, oftentimes people will talk about, well, the person who, or the team that makes it to the World Series is not necessarily the team that performed the best all year, right? It's not an aggregate score of how you did going, throughout the season. You could be like, look at the Mets this year, right? We were the worst team in baseball up until June. And then we did well. And then all of a sudden we were knocking out all these teams that were great all year. So it's a little bit of a question of like, is it about how you perform as your career in total, or is it about how you perform that weekend given the circumstances? So, I think the elephant in the room is that a lot of the people that clearly are probably on paper better suited to win these events had they occurred the way they were supposed to, would, on paper, those people would probably be more likely to win, but that's not how it shook out. And so we can play this like would've, could've, should've game forever, but at the end of the day, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
And it's the same conversation. And, I respect the hell out of Rich Froning, who said something very similar when Roman Krennikrov broke his ankle and said, part of this is staying healthy.
You gotta stay healthy.
Right. And so part of this is also performing at that time. It's like people who perform on Broadway, they have to go out there and perform no matter what happens going on in their personal life and whatever. And sometimes you do well and sometimes you don't. So I think it's on the one hand, it's obvious, right? Like, yes, there were circumstances that impacted what probably would have been the case if everyone were healthy and happy and, sticking around. But that's not what happened. So this conversation around, well, does it count? It's like, I don't know. What else are we going to do? Put an asterisk next to
Right.
his name? Like, I mean, it is what it is. Whether it you think it would have happened, had things shaken out differently or not, I don't know. But it's like, we could do the same thing with Jeff Adler in 2023. Well, what would have happened if Matt Frazier decided to come back? Then would he have won? It's like, well, he didn't.
Speculation could go on forever.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
You can always speculate something.
I think at the end of the day, because we're talking about James, right? So let's just say what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like James has a lot to prove going forward. And, the kid had pneumonia. What are you going to do? Right. But like now he's got this title, like that's on him to prove to everybody that he earned it and he deserved it and that
absolutely.
he had it no matter what. But, I certainly think that it's more a question of, is he going to be able to maintain that status as one of the fittest people on earth? Or is it going to be proven in the history books that it was just a blip? And so we can speculate all we want, but he's got to prove it.
Yeah. No, and I think I agree with pretty much everything you said. I think, in that it's all moot point. I mean, it's fun to talk about. I guess it's fun to speculate on it, but the reality is, an event happened, and a tragic event happened, and you could say that part of being the fittest on earth is being able to focus and being able to, get your mind focused on the events to work out and stuff. And like you said, the reality is he was the one that finished on top. So I think, he deserves the title, because he finished the test. Like you said, with the Roman Krennikov example, Roman didn't finish the test. So you can't like the rest of it with Roman is, well, that's where it ends. He didn't finish the
Yeah.
test.
And nobody is questioning like, did Tia deserve it? And I think no
Right.
one is questioning like, did Laura deserve to come in second at Rogue because Gabby tore her. It's like we are really hyper fixated on just this one person, which I don't think is fair to him. And I not that I don't feel strongly one way or the other, if I'm being honest with you. I think my true opinion is like, can James beat Jeff? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it didn't look like it at Rogue.
It just doesn't. I just think on paper, I don't think he's as strong as Jeff. I don't think he's as good a runner as Jeff. Like, Jeff is an incredible athlete,
Yeah.
and he chose not to participate. These athletes have a right to decide that they don't feel like doing it.
Sure.
Look at Brent. He retired. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He wants to do something else. So we can't continue to speculate around what would have happened if certain things had shaken out differently. I think somebody was going to come in first. Somebody was going to come in first. It was
Yeah.
James. And let's see, does he continue to keep his crown, or does, like I said, do the history books show that it was a fluke? We will find out.
Yeah.
But I think there are just so many factors that we could just sit here and make up.
Right. Have you followed any of this? Do you know about the P score? Have you followed any of that?
I mean, I know what a P score is. I haven't seen how it would have shaken out if there was a P score, so I'd like to see that.
All right, I'll bring that up because the barbell spin, our friend, at the barbell spin. I've never met him
Brian.
before, but I'm going to call him my friend.
He's a wonderful person.
Yeah, I think what he
We
does is
love
good.
Brian.
So, let's start. You want to start with the ladies?
Yeah.
All right. So the premise of the P score then?
Yes.
All right. It's based off of like performance, right? Like there's a difference in winning by a workout by a minute versus winning a workout by 1 second. And you get rewarded differently for that, which I like I kind of like that. I like being rewarded for, like, if you crush everybody in a workout, like I kind of feel like you should get rewarded more for it.
Yeah, totally.
So it would have changed the podium, which I think is intriguing. Everything else would have shaked out mostly the same. That there would have been some changes lower than this, but the podium actually would have been Alex Gazan in third place, and it would have bumped Ariel Lowen down to fourth. Now, here's the big thing about the negative scores. So he points out that they actually used P scoring in the Crash Crucible, but what Spin points out is they had a cap at the negative points that you can get. So that's the other end of the P score. If you do horrible in an event, you can actually get negative points.
Yeah.
Now at the Crash Crucible, they capped that at -10, which I kind of agree with a cap. Like I think there should, just for the point of like to make it more sporting.
Like, yeah. At some point, it's like if you do that poorly on one event, you might as well not come back tomorrow.
Exactly.
Like that's not.
Yeah.
It takes away from it. 100%.
Yeah. But if you didn't cap it, these are the negative scores that would have come out.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So like -407 points. Like, oh my goodness.
Yikes.
Yeah. So I like there being a cap.
Yeah.
And then the overall leaderboard looks like there were some shakeups down below. So Brooke Wells actually would have finished. Oh,
sixth.
Okay. So she would have went down to 6th. Yeah. So there are some changes here.
It looks like through 1 or 2 places for the most part.
Yeah, here and there. Haley Adams took the biggest hit, though, I think.
Yeah.
Dropping because of those not capping the negative points. But then Tia actually wins by more.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, we gotta put her in the other division.
Yeah. So he every day is an opportunity agrees with us. She's
Yeah.
definitely in the top 10 with the men in running.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think in all
So
of it.
that's the ladies leaderboard.
Cool. Let's see the dudes.
Let's get over to the other one. Share. Here comes them. Is this the men? Yeah. Okay. All right. So the podium would have shifted a little bit again, and it would have been Jason Hopper this time. Again, third place, dropping out of third all the way to sixth place.
Wow.
And Ricky Garrard would stay in fourth, and it's actually Dallin Pepper
Wow.
who would go from fifth to third with the P score.
Well, let's I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation between
I
those
know.
two.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't
No kidding.
you can't script a better story than that.
Yeah, exactly. That is awesome.
All right, let's see.
Any big
Jeff, Brent,
jumps?
Dallin, Ricky, Jay, Jason.
Oh, look how big!
Yep.
Look how big Sam Quant would have jumped. He jumps to
Sam.
11th.
There we go, Squant. Come on. James Brake does worse.
Yeah, he dropped one. Chandler dropped. The rest pretty much stay the same. It looks like.
It's interesting. I do like the idea. I think it is way more exciting because it makes every event matter a little bit more, and it makes the place you come in matter more. Because really, I mean, obviously, for these athletes, they're winning money based on the place that they come in. So everyone, especially at Rogue, I think everybody walks away with something. So it matters to them. But to us who are watching, I'm not really super concerned about who comes in 15th and 16th, right? I'm not like, oh man, I would have liked to have seen 16th place come in 15th because I don't get any money for that. But it does make it way more exciting. It feels a little bit more like a season of a sport, right? Where like every game matters because it's shifting your placement around, right? And like, you can talk about like who's going to clinch the podium, right? If there are 9 events and in event 6 you do so well that you're going to at least podium, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There's
some strong opinions on it though. Let me see if I can bring up.
We got some traditionalists.
I guess so. What am I looking at here? Yes, that one. All right. So, David Only Training says possibly the worst scoring system ever.
I hate when people don't show their work. Like, why?
And then they kind of battle it out. So, Texas here is Tyler Watkins. He's the one that I think came up with it, with the P scoring. So they're going back and forth at each other. Is it doing that? I was trying to start here at the top to see if Shelby Neal, games athlete, jumping in. She doesn't like it either, apparently. All right. Anyways, so but all throughout the comment section here is a lot of people just like, this is like, I think P scoring should go away.
Yeah.
Like he says needs to go away. That it was just I don't know. It's just interesting how people have such a strong opinion on it. And they don't like it. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's cool. But what a good day. We got to talk to Squant. We know,
I know.
he's
And you
not
got
a Batman fan.
He approved your nickname. I think that's a win. That's a W in the for sure.
It's pretty dope.
And I totally messed this up. Why didn't I put this up when he announced it? I had it ready and everything.
It's all right.
We can't.
You tried your best.
I can't nail it every time.
Yeah. Like next time. All right, Joel. Well, this was fun. I am looking forward to another episode. I think we should discuss Tia's placement among the men. I think that would be really cool. Let us know if you want to hear about that. And I'm happy. I'm happy we were able to do this.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll get to the other news we didn't get to. We'll talk about that with Justin on Monday. I think
Yeah.
I want to hear what he has to say about that, because he went into the comments on the announcement of Lazar's cause
Yeah.
of death. So we want to talk about that. We'll talk about that on Monday. We'll be back to
All
our
right.
normal time on Monday, right? 8 a.m. I think
Yeah.
we are. All right.
Yeah.
So for Justin, who already left, and for Gab, I'm Joel, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great day, everybody.